The NFL released its 2025 regular season schedule last week. Per usual, the Chiefs lead the way with 7 primetime games. Surprisingly, the Dallas Cowboys, referred to as America's team in some parts of Dallas, will have 6 primetime games. Oh wow, I can't wait to watch my favorite team, said the Sun. Welcome to the Moonstamp cast. That was such a stupid joke. I'm sorry. I'm Jorden. This is the sun goes from north to south to my yes, Mr. Jones. Brian, how are you?
I'm okay.
It didn't get better.
It took a second.
It just didn't get better ever.
Honestly, I think the middle joke where you said America's team referred to as some parts of Dallas is the better part of that joke.
Yeah,
this is still good.
It's our second week in a row just hating on Dallas, which that's kind of our thing. I mean, you have the Texans hat on right there. I hope it's inherent in who we are as people. But welcome to the Moonstamp cast. Sorry, I wrote that one in like 2 seconds. Brian, let's just go ahead and get into this with the Astros. Brandon Walter had no clue who he was. Did not know whenever he was signed. Didn't know he was going to be a starting pitcher, or whenever he's called up, didn't know he was going to be a starting pitcher. 5 innings with 5 strikeouts. Pretty good start, if I say so myself.
Yeah, no longer on the roster. He got sent down today to make room for Forrest Whitney.
Never mind. Well,
so it was a great start. We won't see very much more of him unless another injury occurs. I don't know why. I mean, I guess we want Forrest Whitley getting as much airtime as possible. Get him out there. He has been the hopeful project for the past several years for another pitching arm. But yeah, he's not. I woke up this morning and saw that, and I was just like, "Huh, man, 5 innings scoreless, and you get sent down. That's gotta feel like shit."
Because he had been in the Red Sox organization for I think a year or something like that. Got released, got picked up by us in August. This has to be it's the highlight of his career so far. So I don't know that. Just whatever. It feels like I can't think of it feels like the Denver coach getting fired. The Denver Nuggets coach getting fired, even though they made the playoffs. So that kind of sucks. Sorry, Brandon Walter. I wish you could have been in the bullpen at least, because some of the bullpen needs help. Not a ton of the bullpen, but some of the bullpen needs help. So, well, Brandon Walter, we barely knew you. We'll see you at the next injury stint whenever another Astro gets an injury.
It'll happen.
There will be another guy who has to undergo Tommy John this season somehow.
Oh,
just not speaking of Tommy John, but kind of speaking of Tommy John. LMJ, he got a 3rd start. 3rd time's the charm, baby. I still do have questions because I don't think it was as good of an outing as people are saying it was. At the same time, 4 innings pitched, 2 runs and 2 strikeouts. Not bad.
Not earned runs.
Yeah, no, they're not earned runs.
Not earned runs.
Yes. 2 runs nonetheless, but 2 earned runs. So give it what you want.
Now he is responsible for the error, but
yeah. He did have a negative win percentage added, but I imagine that's because of the error. And it's also like negative 0.058, so it basically was 0. So he was a relatively unimportant part of the game, according to like advanced stats. With that said, it's better than the game before. So we're chugging along a little bit at a time. I think his ERA was, his ERA for that game was like 16. His ERA for this game was, I think, 7 or something like that. It was actually, I think those 2 runs were earned runs when I looked at baseball reference.
Shouldn't be. They were 2 outs and he caused an error, and those runs were scored later.
I think because he caused the error.
Does that count? There's a baseball question. If the pitcher causes the error, is the reason the error occurs, do they become earned runs?
I think so, actually. Now that I think about that out loud.
I don't think so, because it's an error put them in the position to. But I don't know.
It's their error, though. So
yeah, but it's still an error.
It's still an error, but it's still their error over there. So
the pitcher making the error does not mean the other team earned those runs by their batting.
But then the fact that the pitcher did it,
he's not a pitcher anymore. He's a fielder.
But that doesn't take away the fact that he's a pitcher, right?
I don't know.
I think it still counts. I'm looking real quickly just to see his what happened last game. But no, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not crazy. Because I'm sorry, I'm so stupid. It went down. My bad. His ERA went to 7. It was 15 last game, and went down this past.
Well, even if he had those 2 runs earned, it would still go down because
Yeah.
it's not 7 in 1 inning.
Yeah.
I still propose the question. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they don't count against his ERA because an error has occurred. An unforced error has occurred, especially. I don't know if that calculates into it. But I don't know. Hey, two is better than 7 in 1 inning. So
we don't know. Yeah, so it's all good in the neighborhood. We'll answer that question at some point. Because Baseball Reference isn't giving me his season right off the bat, so I'm like trying to look for it, but who cares that much?
That's fine.
But also want to add Isaac Paredes still killing it. Still killing.
So good.
There's not really, much to add to that. He has 29 walks now. And I looked it up. His season high is 76 walks, and that was with 2 different teams, the Cubs and the Rays. I did not look at how many games he played, but I imagine he's on track to hit more than 76 this season, just given how. It's 3 walks in a week isn't like
that's part of the reason we got him. We got him because he's a pull patient hitter with some power. Well, they're the 3 Ps: pull, patience, and power. And he walks. He gets on base thing. But we had a lot of strikeouts these past 5 years, like upper echelon of the league, and that's why they went out and got Christian Walker and went out and got Paredes, was because they extend bats. They may strike out still, of course, because everyone strikes out, but they extend at bats. He had one yesterday where I think he saw 9 pitches. Because he just kept fouling ones off, and then he fucking smacked it for a home run, and it was beautiful. And I hypothetically hit a bet that day.
If I was a coach, also I just looked up 0 earned runs last game. So I'm stupid. It wasn't he had 7 ERA that game. It just went down to 7.88. If I'm a hitting coach or just a coach in general, like little leaguers, I show that at bat to every single one of them, saying, listen, I don't need you to hit a home run every time. I don't even need you to get on base every time. Sometimes I just need you to get up there, spend 10 pitches. If you can spend 8 to 10 pitches per at bat, I love you. I do need you to get on base at some point, but if you can get the pitcher to throw 8 to 10 pitches, I'm not going to fight you. Then that's a guy with an eye, but that's the kind of hitter you want on your team, especially because Paredes is actually hitting well. So Paredes so far has been, just a pickup of the offseason for. I'm not gonna say any team because I'm not sure if I'm gonna look at every team.
Bregman so far is the pickup of the offseason.
I kind of choose to forget that he exists right now for my own mental sanity. I'll say better than Kyle Tucker. Woo!
Yeah, Kyle Tucker will find his form again. Kyle Tucker is still great, but it is nice to see that. Not nice to see because he helped us win a World Series, and we traded him. He didn't go on his own volition, but he didn't sign an extension. It's mixed feelings. It hurts, but at the same time, it's like, hey, the 2 guys we traded for him seem to be doing really well. 3 guys, didn't. I don't know.
There's a third in the minor leagues, so we don't.
Cam Smith and Paredes were the 2 that we traded for him, and then we got a minor league pitcher, I believe. But
he's like I think he's maybe the top 3 in our minor league now. I will say till the day I die, I rarely care about the minor leagues. There's just too many sports going on for me to care about the minor leagues. So I don't care about them.
It's a lot to keep track of.
Get to the majors. So
I'll listen to some names that get floated out there that I find, or Corpus Christi will tweet out some highlights or something and be like, damn, he leads the league in stolen bases or whatever. But Astros overall, second place in the AL West, 25 and 23 as of recording. In fact, first pitch is about to be in 8 minutes. We're 2.5 games back from Seattle. This fucking feels like last year, where we're gonna be up and down team all year. We're gonna scrape by. We're gonna somehow scrape the AL West. We're gonna go into the playoffs, and then we're gonna get bounced in wild card round. That is exactly what it feels like. This. Now there's still a lot of time. We still have some injuries for people to get back from. Altuve's been in a slump. Jordan's been hurt. We're still figuring out our pitching rotation with some injuries and such. It's got to remind ourselves that we're only 2 months into the season. We've got 4 more to go. We're about a third in. It's about a third in. It's a long season. The dog days are still ahead of us. Stay the course best we can. Maybe make it, that brings me to my next point. Making a transaction at the deadline, it has come, to me at least, become apparent that the Chas McCormick era is just about finished in Houston. It is. Cam Smith is developing as a right fielder, left fielder. That's Ben Altuve, or will be Alvarez sometimes, or Denenzo. And Jake Myers has officially established himself. He's the best glove we have in the outfield, and he is been one of the best hitters that we have. He is the established everyday center fielder. And Chas McCormick in the on the batting side of it's just been bad. It's just been a liability. It's just been a black hole on the lineup. I think his time here is done. I think we will see him get moved at the deadline for, I don't know. He'll probably be part of a package, but I think it's going to be wrapped up and done.
He'll get us the asset we need at the end of the trade deadline. With that said, I think that we've been talking about for almost 2 years at this point. Is the Chas McCormick ever going to step up and be the guy that we think he can be? And I think the era is over, like you said. So yeah, Chas, thank you for the catch in 2022. Thank you for thank you for your service in general. He's had his moments, but at the same time, we've moved past the need for a Chas McCormick. We no longer need our spice rack. We have Myers and Cam Smith. So I'm with you there. Before we move off of Astros, I did want to point out that Brian Abreu and King, they're both kind of killing it right now in the bullpen. I know the bullpen has been shaky at times, but I think they had below a 2 ERA, and they're like 1.74 and maybe like a 1.6 or something like that. And they're both killing it. So when people talk about the bullpen being shitty, which Astros fans, I think, have become spoiled. Astros fans did not watch the Astros fan of today did not watch the 2005 World Series. I will take that to my grave. Not my grave. A lot
of the Astros fans didn't go through like 2009 to 2014.
Yeah. The Disastros, the Lastros. There were other nicknames as well. They never saw. I bring it to 2005 again. They never saw the tombstone on the Houston Chronicle that said, "Oh yeah, this team's dead," and that was in June or that was in May. They have not gone through the dog days where it's like, "Oh yeah, these guys kind of suck sometimes." But
we've been spoiled.
Yeah.
It's been 8 years of being completely spoiled.
And I am happy. I don't feel the need to complain about sports. I mean, I'll complain about certain things, like losing the Natty. That will haunt me forever and hurt me forever. At the same, you also lost the. Actually, people were very unhappy about my my Pope ship joke last week. Yeah, I don't. It's like I think he goes with the church. I'm like, I was just making fun of Notre Dame. Honestly, that's kind of what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
But with that all said, you gotta get it's like the Genzo fight, all right, and Yu-Gi-Oh. And I wanted to bring this up for weeks, and I think this is the perfect time to do it. It's like in Yu-Gi-Oh when Joey has to go through the kind of a boring fight to win the Genzo card, but Genzo becomes his card. Not Red Eyes Black Dragon. The Genzo becomes his card, and so you got to get through the Genzo fight. Not a great fight. You got to get through it to get through to the actual plot.
Is that Esperona?
Esperanza, yes.
Esperanza, the psychic, but it was really his little brothers with binoculars.
Yeah. That was the most interesting part of the duel there. So I mean, listen, it wasn't.
And he talked like this.
Yeah, he did.
I summoned Genzo.
That's like a little Karibo's Joey voice.
Kind of, yeah. Oh man, maybe I'm confusing. I might have just used the abridged version voice. Ooh. Oh well. I mean, better. It's peak Yu-Gi-Oh right there.
It's the best. It's what we should introduce people as when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. Few more notes on baseball. Number one, John Pereda struck out Shohei Ohtani. John Pereda is not a pitcher. I think he's an outfield player. He threw it like an 87 mile per hour, which is actually not that bad pitch. Struck him out. He saved the ball as well. It has to feel
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. It has to feel like that. He was in Lithuanian, maybe Polish, plumber who threw in the World Baseball Classic and struck out Trout or something. It has to feel like that, where it's like, I'm never gonna feel like this ever again. This is a once in a lifetime. I gotta savor this forever. So good for him.
A lot of things have to go right for that. You have to be on a team that's getting its ass beat by the Dodgers so badly that they want to put a position player in. So they choose you to be put in. It happens to line up with Ohtani, and you have to strike him out. That is... I hope he went home and bought a lottery ticket. Now, he's a baseball player. He doesn't need the money, but still. That's a lot of good luck to line up to strike out Shohei Ohtani.
Just go bet on the NHL playoffs. Put the over for the Stars and Oilers, which I will talk about soon. Last thing, I want to read you off some stats. A stat line from a game for a pitcher, okay? Complete game, 8 innings pitch, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. Brian, can you tell me what that score was at the end of the game?
That sounds like Hunter Brown.
It's not. Well, it doesn't but it's not Hunter Brown.
Okay, well, that was very similar to the Hunter Brown game that we played against the Rangers.
Yes, at least we tried. We gave him some offense to back it up. No, this was a loss. It was a complete game loss for Paul Skeens, where the Pirates lost 1-0. That brings me in my hypothetical or my new rule question: should pitchers be allowed to hit if they're like, I have to hit? Like, if you're Paul Skeens, you can't have another game like that. You're like, I'm giving you guys everything. Now I have a loss. He has a loss on his record. He pitched 8 innings. That is a complete game because they were the away team. At some point, if you're like Paul Skeens or like your MLB, do you say, if your team is doing so badly, like how you can put outfield players to pitch? If your team is doing so badly, can your pitcher just go, I'm going to go hit now? Because like something needs to be done. I'm the only one doing anything on this team. Let me go hit a ball. Let me go get a single or something. At least let me strike out. Like, let me put my body on the line for this team because I'm doing all the work as it is. I want that rule in place where, like, the DH gets pulled and you just let the pitcher go hit because the pitcher's like, I don't like you guys at all. I want to go hit right
now. Oh, damn. How dare I forget his name? Grienke.
Yeah.
Grienke would have loved that rule.
100%. Grienke was also the last. I think he's, correct me if I'm wrong, he's the last pitcher to ever get a hit.
I couldn't tell you. Well, Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Not a two-way player, a pitcher who's an actual just. We're talking classic pitcher here. Has he hit in the 2000? What World Series did he hit in? He hit against the Braves.
Yeah, and the Braves.
He got a single at. Is it Truist Park? No, that's Philly. Whatever the ballpark of the Braves is. And I think that was the last pitcher to ever hit a ball and get a hit. So he can live with that forever. He's not going to care, or maybe he cares. Actually, he cares a lot about hitting. So good for him. That was just you had the Willie Tavares last week.
He wanted 10 stolen bases was his whole thing. I think he's at 9.
I don't think does he even play anymore? I actually don't know what he's doing.
He was in the Royals last I saw. 2 years ago.
I don't know what he's doing these days. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's,
he's having all the guacamole at Chipotle that he wants.
Well, I don't think he does that anymore because they charge.
Well, no, that was part of his contract with. It was lifetime. We'll pay for your guacamole.
That's awesome. I see he last played for the Royals in 2023, so I think he
might be done. So
I think he might be retired. Well, good for him. I hope he's just being weird to people right now.
Rest in peace, my sweet summer prince.
Talking about resting in peace. Nuggets and who else? Cavaliers, Celtics. Rest in peace.
See ya.
I say Warriors, but I think everyone knew the Warriors.
They've been dead for a while.
They were barely there as it was. We have Knicks, Pacers, and Timberwolves, OKC. Wolves, OKC was last night. Last week I came on here and said I think that the Wolves are playing down to their competition. They're playing the Warriors. And then, the Warriors, they're without Steph. They're just not as good. They're not going to put it full balls to the wall on this. So it turns out I was stupid. It's really stupid on that one because they did not look great at all against OKC. Flattened them. So OKC has this. I'm pretty sure. I say before, they come back and do amazing things.
People are really mad about SGA foul baiting, and I get. Look. Where am I from? Who was the foul baiting king? I get it. It's not fun basketball, but to compare it to a video game, in Elden Ring, it's a FromSoft game. It's a Soulsborne game. People are if you're not playing it a certain way, you're not playing it right. And there's these things called Spirit Ashes, where you can call upon a little Spirit Ash to help you in a boss fight. And people there's a small group of people that just get fucking furious. They're like, you're not really playing the game. You didn't really beat that boss. You had help. Like, ugh. It's in the game. And the foul baiting, it's within the confines of the game and in the rules of the game. It's not the most entertaining, perhaps, to watch, but it's in the confines of the game and it's allowed. It's people just want to be mad to be mad. Now, there is that very funny picture of him acting like he's getting fouled, and it's like the, God, what's the painting? But it's like the kind of, it's like the screaming woman, and it's like, but she's like swirly.
Oh, the Scream?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's called the Scream. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well, okay. It's that, and he legitimately looks like that, zoomed in, and he's like, he's driving, and there's like 3 Timberwolves around him, and none of them are touching him, and he's screaming like he's gotten like hit, and he like his mouth is kind of like, oh, Hunter. It's really funny, but it's part of the game, but it does make for a bad product. I don't know. What do you do here? How do you change the rules to get rid of that?
Well, so in soccer, they have something called simulation, and simulation is whenever it can be a yellow card or a foul or whatever. It's whenever you're faking a foul, and it does get called. So for a long time, it was basically the well thought out zeitgeist. I don't think I said that right, but it was the common held belief that to get a foul, especially if you're like a Leo Messi, a guy who's like very quick, very agile, runs very quickly, to get a foul, you're going to have to fall. You're going to have to go down. Even if you get fouled but you keep running, they're not going to call. There's not even going to be a play on. Then there's something called simulation, and it's kind of been used a little bit more as time has gone on, where you're blatantly falling there, and with the VAR coming in, it's been a little bit more helpful. But
I sent it to you.
Okay, perfect.
No, continue with your point.
But no, with that, there has to be some way in basketball to put that in. Do I know how to put that in? No. Like if you simulate, do you get, is it a tech? And there probably is something like that in basketball. I just can't think of it. But I've definitely seen it maybe before. But if you're faking, at the same time, with all that said, it's part of the game, and it is a way to play the game. Like Harden basically has made a career on hoping that he gets hit. There are guys who play the game, especially in college, like hoping to get hit and drawing a foul and going up to the line. I don't love it either. I don't think anyone loves it. I saw a TikTok of someone talking about how it was about there are 4 guards leading 4 teams in the final, the conference finals, and someone said SGA was the MVP, and someone posted that picture you just sent in response, and like, is he really the MVP because of that? I still argue who probably is the MVP. At the same time, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it's also it's just the way the game is played. Like it's the new era protecting offense. Protecting offensive players. It's for the reason I think, we look at the 90s and say like defense has fallen off. It's because, because we're a little bit more protected. Like you can't actively go punch anybody anymore. And I'm not saying they punch people. I'm saying they played really hard defense and created some plays that happen and that would be pretty easy fouls to call today. So I don't love it either, but I love your point.
There's no winning. There's no winning because it's part of the game, and maybe they adopt the hockey thing where they let play-ons, unless it's an egregious foul, which, we could get into the WNBA if you want.
I'm down with that, actually. Yeah.
It's by the book. Most of these are fouls, and people are very upset that it's not a great product, and people reacted the same way whenever Harden was doing this too. So I'm not. I understand it completely, and as a fan of OKC, you're just like, he's playing in the confines of the game. He's doing what he has to do to win. He's going he's trying to score. And it's not his fault they're fouling. We made all those same excuses about Harden. I don't know. There's not an immediate fix there. I don't know what they can do.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think it needs to be fixed, because if it was that crazy, why wouldn't every single team be doing this?
Yeah, I mean, also you can get fined for flopping, which I appreciate. And it's been adopted, so it was I was on a trial basis. I'm not sure it's even in here anymore. Um, with that said, something does need, like, here's the thing. There's a problem. Something does need to be done about it, but the question is, how do you do without like affecting the game? How do you do without like giving it, because we're kind of in an offensive era now where offense is protected, offense is allowed to play very aggressively, where maybe defense is not allowed to do the same thing. Well, how do you fix it so that it's maybe a little bit more even and not you're getting back to defense? You're not going back to like maybe the 80s, the 90s, the 70s hardball eras. Do I know what the answer is? No, I do not. With that said, I'm still going to watch, and I do think OKC is going to get to the finals. That's not a question in my mind. The question is who they're going to face. I hope it's the Pacers because I do not like the Knicks. I do not like. I like the Knicks. I hate Knicks fans. Knicks fans are so annoying. I don't know if you saw them throwing trash at that Pacers fan who was getting pelted with trash because he was just walking through NYC with a Pacers jersey on. It wasn't that
he was baiting it. In my opinion, he was baiting it. I'm sure once that camera's rolling, you don't have just a mob. I don't want to call it a mob. You don't have that many people looking at you and doing that shit to you. You don't know what he was saying before that camera was rolling.
Yeah, but
you don't know what he was doing before that camera was rolling.
But yeah, just because I leave a bag in view of my car doesn't mean you get to break into my car and take my bag.
Oh, yeah. But if he was screaming about "fuck all y'all ain't shit, y'all got lucky" and stuff, and then the camera's rolling with the aftermath.
I agree. Listen, I'm not saying he's innocent in all this. I'm just saying this is. They also threw trash at Brian Windhorst. I don't know if you saw that as well. They're throwing trash at him this week. It's like, fool me once, fool me twice. Okay, I kind of see a pattern here. There's a pattern developing of. At the same time, yeah, I'm not going to come in here and be like the Pacers fan is just an innocent bystander. I just don't like Knicks fans, and it falls into what Knicks fans are. But with all that said, we have two 60+ win teams out: the Cavaliers and the Celtics. Celtics will be back. I think. I don't say it wasn't their fault, but there are outstanding circumstances to what happened. It's not like it was OKC. OKC just got beat. It's not OKC. Sorry. Cavaliers. The Cavaliers just got beat. The
Pacers fucking. They're a fun team.
They're a fun team to watch. Well, the Cavaliers' whole entire season, they were trying. They were fast. They were a good spacing team. They had they ran. They were just fluid, and the Pacers stopped that, which is incredible to see. I think the Cowboys had to start playing like iso ball, and the Pacers wanted that to happen. The Pacers will eat you alive, and I am very happy the Pacers are there. I want the Pacers in the finals. We will see what happens because the first game is tonight. I'm sorry, this is out of date as we're recording it. We'll see what happens tonight. We'll see how those teams match up. I imagine it's not going to be an easy game for you. It's not an easy series for either team. If you told me one of these series is going to 7, it's Pacers Knicks.
Oh, I think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep in OKC, Minnesota, and I think it's going to be 7. I'm going to go Knicks.
Okay,
I got Knicks and OKC for the finals.
How about you go Knicks? I'll go Pacers.
Yeah,
maybe next week we can reconvene and defend our team's honor. We can start the debates early on. But I don't have anything special to say where it's like that's just why the Pacers. It's like Tyrese Haliburton was rated called the most overrated player by NBA players. I think he's come back on that some.
Okay, so about that,
yeah,
I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but there was only 12 or 15 players that actually voted on the most overrated player, and he won it because he won a big percentage of it, which because he had 9 of the 12 or 9 of the 15 that voted for him, and there's a good chance that it was all just Milwaukee Bucks because they despise the Pacers. I don't have any of this information in front of me. I don't have the numbers exact, but it's something like that. I got that from PMT, but that. It's not like the whole NBA sat there and was like, man, this fucking guy's overrated. Every single player said so.
This is like Coney 2012, where I just didn't look into a single thing. I was like, yeah, that seems right. And then my WAP teacher had to tell me hey, Coney 2012 is he doesn't have 1 million child soldiers. He has 100. I was like, oh, I imagine this man was taking over Africa with these small child soldiers.
Wait, very off topic. We had the same WAP teacher because she was
Yes.
the only same WAP. She was like very gung ho about it for us. She was like, I'm showing this to you because you guys need to know what's going on in the world and that this is a great movement to get behind. And I was just like, it's horrible. I am 15 years old. What do you want me to do?
I want you to call it. It was no. I think it was no. This is not to get into politics, but I think it was like there were girls taken in Sudan or something, and Michelle Obama was like, "We need to go get those girls back." I'm like, "Hey, so like your husband's the president, so like talk. Why are you telling me? Talk to him, please." Same vibe there, where it's like I'm 15, I'm in the middle of Houston, Texas. I don't know how to go rescue any child soldiers. I barely know what child soldiers are because I'm 15 years old. She did. I think maybe the talk she had with us is like it was about propaganda, I don't know, because the way you watch it, I remember watching the Coney video and thinking they were like, he had millions of child soldiers. There were so many of them, and she's like, it's actually not that like it's bad, but it's just not that many. So that was that. This to bring this all back to Tyrese Haliburton. Tyrese Haliburton, apparently not the most overrated player. Just a couple people hate him. I do have thoughts. I want to talk about this real quickly.
Okay.
We have Pacers Knicks. Who is the most famous Knicks fan? Not right now, just famous Knicks fan. I argue Spike Lee.
I'd say Spike Lee. Ben Stiller's right behind him.
But I feel like Spike Lee's he's more vocal. He looks crazier on the sidelines. That's kind of his thing.
Timmy C. He might be coming for that.
That's why I said of all time.
Famous right now.
Yeah.
Famous right now.
Yeah. He's probably more famous right now. This all leads to somewhere. I'd really like to see John Haliburton versus Spike Lee on the court. They're both smaller gentlemen. There's a part of me that like loves watching those videos of like travel baseball parents fighting each other. So I think it's hilarious. Your kid's 11. He's not. Why are you fighting in the stands? Now, these are obviously bigger stakes. One guy's just a fan. One guy's, the father. But the father went after Giannis. I mean, he went up and squared up against Giannis. He didn't square up, but he would have squared up if he had to.
He went top of head to forehead. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a backwards square up. There's a part of me that really wants to see like parents fight more, like NBA parents fight more, because that's kind of funny. I'm just saying, it'd be funny if like you had like dads going at each other like they do in travel baseball videos. I'd love to see Spike Lee and John Haliburton have to talk in some capacity. I don't imagine. I mean, John Haliburton's been banned, so he's not coming back. Now, I don't actually know the answer to this. Has he been banned from all Pacers games or all NBA games? Because if it's all Pacers games,
I believe it's all NBA games this postseason.
Dang it. Okay. Well,
I think I won't swear to it.
We're one of those like mustache eyeglasses. You can get into the Knicks. But there's a part of me that like, I think it'd be really funny if, we had those two not fighting, but having a conversation or seeing each other. I don't imagine either one's going to be very quiet.
No.
Spike Lee probably won't engage if I know anything about Spike Lee. But at the same time, Spike Lee. John Haliburton, knows who Spike Lee is, has known who Spike Lee is since probably the 90s. I'd love to see this happen. So this is like my my wish list of because it's already been a great NBA postseason. Love to maybe throw a little bit more fun into it, especially because Knicks Pacers have a history. We have the Reggie Miller choking. Maybe this comes back and this is revenge for the Pacers. Any more thoughts on postseason basketball, Brian?
It's cool that we're going to have a champion that we haven't had in a while. That's really cool, to be honest. I don't want it to be OKC.
I don't.
It is all everything points to OKC winning this thing. OKC is the best top to bottom team left in the final or in the conference finals. I think they are going to win it all. If I had to rank the wants of win, I would probably go Pacers, Wolves, Knicks, OKC, but I don't hate any of these teams by any means. That's just what I would want to see. Indiana would be a fun team to win it all. Just be like, yeah, fuck you, small markets rule.
It goes back to our talk last week. Is Indianapolis over representative in sports gusto? I will say I don't want Knicks to win only because I don't want Knicks fans to be happy. So that means Yankees fans are happy, and that's just It doesn't compute
the
in my
transitive
mind.
property.
The transitive property, yeah. A equals B, or A equals B, B equals C, so A must equal C. So yes, Yankees fans can't be happy.
I do kind of want them to get to the finals to OKC and OKC stomp them. That would be okay. I would be on OKC. You know what? Yeah, let's slide OKC up one level. All right.
Listen, they can make it to the finals. They can go to Game 7. As long as they don't win, I'm fine with it. But it's cool to have the super team era is kind of dead as it is. It is cool to see that we're having, whether it's like 7 different teams in 7 years. That's really, I do think, I want to use the word deserving, but Oklahoma City has suffered, and their front office has worked hard to get here. What was the joke? They had 3 first-round picks every year for the past 10 years, it felt like. They've worked hard to get here. They've drafted well. They've created a team. They haven't tanked per se, but they've worked well within the system.
Hey, they did the process way better than the 76ers did.
Yeah.
So much better. They said they did. Maybe it's the fact that they were not voicing it. Just trust the process. Just trust the process. We're going to get there. They saw 76ers in a very similar situation a little while ago, and they were like, hey, what if we do the same thing but don't brag about it? Kind of not be like, hey, look what we're doing. We're trusting the process. Look at all the moves we're making. What if we just do that but quietly?
Well, right? Brian, you forget the 76ers have one disadvantage that the Oklahoma City doesn't, and that's Daryl Morey is not in their organization. So they're doing better as it is. With all that said, Oklahoma City has done the quote unquote right way, the way you're supposed to build a team. There is something beautiful in that, and if they win, it is kind of I'm not going to say a refutation of the super team era, but it is the right way. I'm not saying that is the right way. It's just the way to say it. It can be done that way. The 76ers are not the end all be all. Again, they have Daryl Morey. That's their own albatross to bear. But it would be cool to see OKC win for that reason, along with other reasons as well. Just as, who didn't love the Westbrook Durant Harden era of OKC? They never won anything. Do I think maybe Seattle maybe should get one congratulatory ring if they win? Of course. Deadlift Shrimp, my guy. I don't know why I say that. I have no remembrance of Deadlift Shrimp, but no, it's cool to see. So, with all that said, that's basketball.
Is it time to rip the Band-Aid off, buddy?
Yeah, so I want to talk about the Maple Leafs. So just for context, this is my first year watching hockey. Wheel chose the Maple Leafs for me, as listeners know. So I take everything I say and I don't have the anger of a Leafs fan of 20 plus years. I do have the anger of someone who's watched sports. That generally, and we all say, what's the best term in all of sports? Game 7. Game 7 is the best. That was the worst Game 7 I've ever watched in my life. The Maple Leafs just they did this all season where they'd go on these 5-6 game runs where they looked impeccable. And then all of a sudden they just looked like shit. It's no one cared. And you think, well, it's the regular season. You go on runs, guys get hurt. Every once in a while you're not going to care as much as the postseason. It's just not possible when you're playing. How many ever games you play in the NHL season, NBA season, MLB season. The Astros are going to go on a stretch where they just lose games because they don't care as much. It's, the middle of July. You're like, dude, I'm tired. My body kind of hurts. With that said, how in the world do Nylander, Matthews, and Marner put in that performance in a Game 7? And not even Game 7, Game 6 too. It was 6-1 both games. Joseph Wall faced 21 shots in 7 minutes in the first period. Ooh. That sets the tone immediately. They're like, hey, we're not giving Joseph Wall could have a point or a 960 save percentage. If you shoot at him 100 times, you're going to start letting goals in at some point. They just like did not care at all. There was no drive. There was no passion. And like I say these, you know, the basically like, there's no drive, no passion, fellas, like a high school football coach. At the same time, I just watched the game. I'm like, Austin Matthews wants to like go do what he's done. I don't know what Nylander does. Mitch Marner wants to fuck off to his new team immediately, which I'm like, I'm not particularly a fan of booing players who are leaving unless it's like Carlos Beltran. I booed Carlos Beltran as a young child. That's a deep cut for those of you who remember.
That's a fair one.
I was also like 8 years old, so I really wasn't. He also, I think he just left the Astros. I don't even remember the reason he left the Astros. Mitch Marner is a very different guy, where he has been there for about 10 years. I think so. He was drafted by the Maple Leafs. He's a guy from Toronto. Miko Rantanen, as we talk about, the guy who's probably, I think the Dallas Stars, by the way, great chance of winning this entire thing. I think the Panthers. I feel like Panthers are going to win, but that's beside the point. Miko was going to come to Toronto. There's a trade for him. The thing is, Mitch Marner has a trade clause, or no trade clause, and he said, "No, I'm not getting traded," and that's fine. That's within his right. But then you put him like this performance in the playoffs. At Game 7, he was trying to inspire his teammates. It's like, buddy, you could have tried that like Game 2. Like, what are we doing in Game 7? Like yelling at your teammates. Nylander at least both told Matthews and Marner to fuck off and shut up, which I appreciate. It was the worst Game 7 I've ever watched. I can imagine being a Maple Leafs fan this long in my life. I don't know. We watch Browns fans. At least Browns fans, like they know they're never going to be happy. At least they can see
the Cowboys in the NHL.
Yeah,
you were warned beforehand. Yeah. You were drastically warned that this is the cycle that you're going to go on.
And here's the thing: I'm okay with being like the Cowboys. At least are incompetent. That's where it comes. Like the Cowboys management is incompetent. The Maple Leafs management. Mr. Jones, he thinks sun goes from north to south. Berube is an excellent. It seems like he's an excellent Berube. I think that's his name. I can't. Whatever. Excellent coach. He let the guys play the way they wanted to play. He set up the team to allow people to play freely, but also compactly. He's a great coach. The front office seems like they're doing it. I mean, they won the Atlantic Division. The front office seems like they're doing a great job. Like the Miko trade we talked about. They put that in place because they knew Mitch Marner's leaving. They're like, let's get a guy who can at least replace him or like come in and be. And Miko's gone off in the playoffs. With the Maple Leafs, you're just like, oh, these players don't give a shit. Like you watch them and you're like, there's no way these guys can go back in the locker room and be like, oh well, at least we tried, boys. Like, I think there was a guy. I think Shorzy's the guy that some guy on TikTok quoted. A fan. He's like, these guys just don't hate losing. The power of like playoff sports, and especially if you're like, if you're the Pacers, you have to hate losing more than you love winning, because losing sucks. You love winning, feels great. Losing sucks.
Everyone loves winning.
Winning is easy in the terms of when you're proud. Losing sucks. You and I both played sports before. Losing sucks. I don't really know what to say. It was the worst games I've ever watched. This is my first season as a fan. I felt like I had a good year. I got to learn a lot. I got to see some great hockey. This is, I listen, I've not watched enough hockey games to say this is the worst game I've ever seen. Maybe the worst game I've ever seen. So, on to next year. We'll see what happens with next year.
Well, I know we still have to watch the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, we will. I'm talking about Maple Leafs specifically.
Okay.
We'll see what happens next year. I don't know where Marner's going to be in the next year, but it wasn't great.
Hey, remember when we came into the playoffs with high hopes that we would get a Colorado Avalanche, Toronto Maple Leafs? Hey, the wheel chose our teams, and thus we are in the Stanley Cup, and we get to make a lot of fun content out of that.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, we were talking about like, oh, this is kind of bad because we're relatively small, so we want to save this for like our great. Notre Dame went to a national championship. UH went to a national championship. We're getting all these things coming. We're like,
this should have been like 2-3 years in.
Yeah,
it would have been so much better.
Turns out we actually don't have to care about that at all. It doesn't. Your team gets bounced. My team. Again, worst Game 7 I've ever watched in my life.
So for pure content. For you losing the Natty and me losing the Natty, for pure content, damn, we missed out because that for the amount of shit that we have gotten shoved down our throat from people online in 2 to 3 years when we're a little bit bigger. Don't hate that I missed out on that.
No.
Don't really hate that I missed out on getting made fun of for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah. With that said, again, we probably will get that anyway at some point. The Texans will most certainly let us down again.
Of course. Are Are you done with your Maple Leafs?
Yeah, Maple. I mean, I'm if I were different, if I were a less virtuous person, I'd be done with the Maple Leafs in general. But the wheel decided.
Listen,
I must stick.
We got to
with
ride.
them. I must
until
stick.
Houston gets a team. We got to ride with our teams that the wheel decided for us. Panthers Oilers is the matchup I want in the Stanley Cup. I don't know why really. Well, I mean, I know why the Oilers, because I don't want Dallas to succeed. But Dallas and Panthers would be such a fun Stanley Cup. Oh my God, the Panthers are fun. No offense.
No, I mean, the thing is, as someone who just had to watch the Panthers dismantle my team, they dismantle teams. You watched them last night against the Canes. They dismantled the Canes. Mm-hmm. They are like the Canes play really fluid, compact, like traditional fundamental hockey. From what I see and what I've been told, they just dismantle you, and that's kind of beautiful. There's a beauty in it.
Yeah, those are. I want the Panthers in the Stanley Cup final. Either way, I'm happy with whoever comes out of the West. I'm super excited for the conference finals, and I'm super excited for the Stanley Cup final. I'm more excited for hockey than I am NBA, to be honest.
100%. We also have invested in this season. During the NBA season, we were watching at least I was. You were too, watching college basketball. With that said, also Stars Oilers take the overs every game. Apparently, that's gonna be a goal fest right there. I'd say Panthers maybe sweep the Canes given last night. All right,
that's all I got on the NHL.
I'm gonna move on to soccer real quickly. This is my soccer talk. This will be a little bit longer than usual. I'm gonna film a content for something that may or may not happen. First off, Liverpool lost to Brighton this week 3-2. No one gives a shit. The players are in Dubai half the time. Arne Slot and Ibiza, they won the league already. They're not going to win points totals. They're not going to be like a Man City points total, like the 97 points. Who gives a shit? They lost 3-2, and the fans went. They were because it was an away game. Fans were singing at the final whistle. They were singing loudly. They were singing proudly. They don't give a shit. They won the league. Who cares? There's no playoffs. It doesn't matter. You won the league. There was this. This is kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Mitch Marner. There was this video of Trent Alexander-Arnold who announced he's leaving. I think I told you he announced he's leaving, and he got booed last week when he came onto the pitch. I think when he left the pitch, he got booed because fans are very unhappy with him. And it's kind of the same Mitch Marner story.
I know he's going to Barcelona.
He's going to Real Madrid. Well, he's not. He's going to Real Madrid. No one. It's not official, nor has there been any interest per se. But he's going to Real Madrid. Which is there's a whole contract situation with that too, because his contract ends June 30th or 31st. I don't know if June is 30 or 31. I've never learned how many months. And I know February. That's about it. But the Club World Cup takes place in June. It's like the World Cup between the clubs. So Real Madrid won the Champions League last year. Whoever won the Champions League, the American Champions League, whatever it's called, CONCACAF Champions League. There we go. Whoever won the Asia Cup or whatever, those people play. And I think usually it's Middle East now. His contract ends the 30th. It happens in June. They're going to try to get him out of his contract early on. But the whole point is I've seen Trent Alexander-Arnold's entire career. His entire career started in 2018 or so under Klopp. I've been there since the beginning. And I understand the anger watching him leave. And I think I feel a little bit of anger in it because the way he's done it, it wasn't like he's announced like Jamie Vardy did. He's like, I'm leaving. I love you guys. And everyone kind of knew he was leaving as well because he's older. Trent Alexander was dodging questions. He wouldn't sign a new contract. It's a shitty way to leave a club that you apparently love in your hometown club. Just be honest and say, listen, I've done everything I can at this club. I'm ready to leave. And so he looks on wistfully and sees he'll probably never see that again. He's not going to see that love from Real Madrid. Real Madrid fans are famously not easy to please. To put it very lightly, they're famously not easy to please, and they will they will come for you after one mistake. It's not just like Liverpool. You have teams that will forgive you. If Jose Altuve makes a mistake, we forgive him. He's Jose Altuve. If you make one mistake at the Bernabeu, they will murder you. So
that's it. You're done.
That's it. You're done. They will never let you know. With that said, I don't wish any ill will towards him. I know there are fans who do. I know he's let people in his family say things about Liverpool, not good things about like the city of Liverpool, and they're very protective of the city. I'm going to write a blog about this, how comparing like Mitch Marner and Trent Alexander-Arnold. But it is sad to see. It's sad to see that story end. Second topic: the Europa League final starts at 2:00 today, 2 p.m. I don't know what time it is. By the time this comes out, it will be over. It's between our friends, our friendly. Let me pull up our Tottenham Hotspur correspondent. Now it's between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United, and I asked, as we know, one of our good friend Tessa, who is a Tottenham Hotspur fan, a Spurs fan. She's been a Spurs fan for about as long as I've been a Liverpool fan. I said, can I get a statement for this? She goes, please, for the love of God, give this season something. Lord, have I not suffered this club enough to at least earn a Champions League group exit next season? And with that, I say they have. So, Brian, I don't know if you know how the Premier League table works. There are 20 teams. The bottom 3 get relegated. They have to go down to the league below. Would you like to guess where Manchester United and Tottenham are in the standings?
You said bottom 3?
Their bottom 3 get relegated. Yes.
So they've got to be 16 and 17.
Tottenham 17 and Manchester United 16.
So she didn't get relegated.
She can't get relegated. It's over. With that said, though, it's very rare that a team that makes the Europa League final is done that poorly in the league. I mean,
oh, we love you, Tess.
Tottenham is the worst of the ones surviving ones, and that's not saying much. One team has 12 points, and that means they won either 4 games or tied 12. Some combo of the two.
Oh no!
So let me speak to both teams. I can clip this for afterwards. First to Tottenham. You won, Tottenham. You finally beat the allegations. You have a big trophy. Europa League. It really does matter, obviously. You got your Champions League place. You did finish 17th, though, and your manager is leaving. And it's still the Europa League. And say what you want, it's still the Europa League. But yeah, you beat the allegations. You're going to get Crystal Palace's manager, maybe.
Hey, my old team.
They actually just won the FA.
Was that Crystal Palace? Or
yes, you were Crystal Palace and Arsenal at some point. So
Crystal Palace got regulated, and I was like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. You probably went to Arsenal after that. Crystal Palace just did win the FA
I might
Cup.
spin a wheel. I might spin a wheel for next season.
Okay, that sounds fun. I mean,
because I picked Arsenal because I was like, that's a big name that I know, and I have no fucking. I didn't watch this. I haven't seen a single Arsenal game, and our correspondent Tess would like text me, would be like, "Fuck you, haha," and I'd be like, "Did we play today?" She's like, "Yeah," and I was like, So I might spin a wheel for next season.
Okay, perfect. They did win the FA Cup, which is big.
Okay.
Let me speak to Manchester. So Manchester United, you won a trophy. Good for you. Is this really what you wanted? Win the Europa League? You're the treble winners. All right. Your American owners can't even fly the staff out for the final. They have a barbecue at some random place in Manchester. Are you proud of yourself? Are you really proud of yourself? Good for you. You finished 16th. You finished 16th in the league. That's embarrassing. You should be embarrassed. And as much as you want to celebrate, I hope you know this means nothing. It just further besmirches your legacy. All right, now I've talked to both teams. This Saturday as well, or Sunday. I think it's Sunday because it's Championship Sunday. There's the Hangover Derby between Liverpool and Crystal Palace. As it's being dubbed, Liverpool won the league, don't care. Crystal Palace won the FA Cup. They don't care. There's a joke that both teams should just walk on the field and just do the crossbar challenge the entire time. That's my talker talk. Quickly, I want to talk about the NFL. Have a little few things in the NFL. Contract extensions and such.
Sure.
Okay. So, the 49ers have been busy. Brock Purdy, 5 years, $265 million. And they also signed Fred Warner to 3 years, $63 million with I think 56 guaranteed. Good for them. Honestly, Purdy deserves it. He's not carried that team. That was wrong. That's not correct. But he has gone from Mr. Irrelevant to the starting quarterback for their team. He's done well enough to where
he led them to a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah. Which I'm not going to find you on. So good for Brock Purdy. Fred Warner is also now the highest paid linebacker in the league. Good for him.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry, 2 years, $30 million, 25 guaranteed. He probably will still be good at the end of that 2 years as well. He's 31 last time I checked. He's going to play forever. That man is
he's a modern day Frank Gore for longevity, not play style, not size, not strength. It's or speed. It's they're different for that. I'm talking about purely longevity. Derrick Henry is going to be good for several more years. He may not be Derrick Henry of 4 years ago, where he was literally carrying the Titans to victories, but he's going to be a good, solid running back until he is done.
Yeah. No, and I mean, he doesn't seem like he's slowing down that. He's slowing down a little bit, but he's not slowing down. I mean, there was talk in the first couple weeks of the NFL season that he was a possible MVP candidate. So I mean, he may never stop.
He did not get the attention that he deserved this year because of what Barkley did with the Eagles. And don't get me wrong, that's not taking anything away from Barkley. Barkley had one of the best seasons I've ever seen from a running back. But it overshadowed Derrick Henry, who had a fucking amazing season as well.
He also had Lamar on his team, and he was another MVP candidate. So like it's just, I don't know. Can you talk about two MVP candidates on the same team? With all that said, Derrick Henry's got another 2 years in him, and I'm excited to see it. He's a great running back. I'm not excited to ever have to play him, but I
hope the Ravens win a fucking Super Bowl.
They need to. They deserve it at this point.
I really wouldn't hate the Ravens winning a Super Bowl, man. Them and the Bills are always just been right there.
Lastly, Sirianni got a new contract. We don't know for how many years or for how much it is.
They don't have to release coaching contract.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That feels a little dirty to me.
Well, I feel like you should just tell.
Not like they're doing anything illegal, but it's like, how are you going to have all the players' information out there forever, and then coaches just none of it has to get released?
I mean, I think PMT wants to look at how much Will Compton made in the NFL, and then it's like, how much does Nick Sirianni make? Like, someone just tell how long is he going to be there for? How much more do we have to suffer under him? Speaking of the Cowboys as well, because we talked about them earlier, they have a ping pong table now in their locker room.
Everything's changed.
Well, apparently it's added the group chemistry and all that. Can't wait to see the whenever the tweet comes out that it's been taken out. Gonna hit like crack.
It's gonna be so funny.
I mean, I say over under week 7.
It's gonna be a week. It's gonna be a. Hold on.
It's gonna be a week where it's gonna be a week where it's like they're not maybe the worst team in the league, but they've lost enough games to where it becomes an issue. The offense is not running at full cylinder. The Sun is
November 3rd. They play the Cardinals. They're going to lose at home. They're going to lose to the Cardinals at home, and then they're going to take the ping pong table out. That's my call.
Okay, I say it's in October at some point. I'll come back next week with my prediction.
All right.
Flag football also. In the 2028 Olympics, the league has allowed players now to play in it.
Yay!
We talk about the Polish plumber who was struck out Mike Trout in the World Baseball Classic. The poor Lithuanian linebacker who has to watch Derrick Henry rush him, who is probably 3 to 4 inches taller and 100 pounds heavier, all of pure muscle. I hope LA hospitals are ready to receive those men, and we pray for their souls, for the things that are going to happen to them at the 2028 Olympics.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. I mean, again, there's a part of me that thinks like every single country who hosts the Olympics should have that one sport that they're really good at, and you get to have that in your Olympics. I don't know. China has archery and shooting, and we just have flag football. And we're like, let's just let Mahomes and Henry. Actually, I think Lamar would be better in that situation because he can run.
Oh, you want to? Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Any one of them, I'd be. That's the thing. All 32 starting quarterbacks, I think, would be fine.
I mean, even the backups,
I'm including Mason Rudolph.
I think the entire Browns locker room would be fine, or Browns.
Oh my God.
And it's I'd actually love to see that. Just let the Browns do that. It's like a G League. A few last notes. The PGA Championship happened this past weekend. Scotty Scheffler, whenever he wins, he just wins so dominantly. It makes you question whether anyone's ever been good at golf.
It's a
ever.
really boring Sunday.
Yeah, it wasn't special. There's no arrest this time. He just.
It's not a bad thing, by the way.
No,
it's not a bad thing. It just shows how much he dominated.
Yeah,
there was like a moment where John Rahm was like, and then John Rahm pissed it away, and Scotty Scheffler won.
Yeah, I mean he's so good. He will continue to be so good for so long.
I've got a question for you.
Yes.
How old do you think Scotty Scheffler is?
Was he 25, 26?
You know what he looks like, right?
Yes.
He's 28.
Okay.
I thought he was in his mid-30s.
No, I knew he was. I knew he was younger because I think he's only been around. He hasn't been around super long. He's been around long.
Yeah, but I haven't been. Hand up. I haven't been paying. Golf has been a thing in my life for the past 2 years that I've gone into. Started playing. Started watching. It's the Danny DeVito. Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Type thing that happened 2 years ago for me. I thought he was in his mid-30s just because of he looks like a dad. And he is a dad, but he looks like a dad. And then finding out that I'm a year and a half older than him kind of killed me on the inside.
See, so I can't clip this, but he has classic frat boy physiognomy where he looks doughy and like his hair is falling out already, and his face is just he just has that face, like that 5 o'clock shadow at all times. He'd be in finance or something if he wasn't a golfer. There's a lot of guys.
100% agree.
This can't be clipped. There's a lot of guys who went to UT who weren't frats who kind of all look like that. I say someone who lives in an area with a lot of UT frat people, A&M frat people. They all kind of look like that. It's like a physiognomy thing. But yeah, no. Listen. By the way, we played golf this past weekend. I fully believe I could get better if I played more than once a year.
I mean, we should play more. I want to play more. I will say that it is easier to play during the week. That we could have done that round in 3.5 to maybe even 3 hours, but instead we got behind some people and we played for 4.5, 4.5, 4:45 or so, and it does take away from what it is. But I love golf so much.
It was fun. I remember that every time I play golf, I find one club I'm really good with, which was the 6-iron this time, and then I just can't get. I can get some things on other things, but the 6-iron was just my baby this time. So shout out to the 6-iron.
Get it.
I was going to mention the NBA because the Valkyries, WNBA, because the Valkyries cut all their rookies, which is kind of crazy. It's tough to get a WNBA roster spot.
Wow, I didn't know they cut all their rookies.
Yeah, because they drafted 3 rookies and they had to get cut because there's only 12 roster spots and most of them are already filled up. But they cut
there's no G League either. So
there's no G League. So it's you go and you're like, oh well, this is it for me. So yeah, Caitlin Clark also still looked great. I don't watch enough WNBA. I don't really know much about the NBA. We had trouble remembering the Fever last week, but shout out to her. She's killing it. I just want to talk about another women's sport, which is college softball. A&M. Do you know what happened to A&M?
No. I saw a thing that was like A&M baseball and A&M softball have the most embarrassing seasons ever combined or some shit.
A&M baseball, I'll give a little deference to because they lost their coach to UT. It seems like some things just went wrong for them. A&M softball, they were number 1 overall seed in all of college softball. And they were playing Liberty University to advance. They were in their regionals, and they were going to advance to super regionals. No number 1 overall seed has never advanced to super regionals. They lost to Liberty University, and now are out of the playoffs for college softball. Which begs the question: is that the most A&M way to ever exit a tournament? And the answer is yes.
So their number 1 seed got their ass kicked, lost to a 16 seed essentially.
Yes.
Badly?
No, not even a 16 seed. It was not. I mean, they're not. They were unranked, is what they were. How regionals and super. I don't really understand how it works, but they were lost to an unranked Liberty University, who barely a real school as it is. I did see one take that was like, well, yeah, of course they lost. They actually have to study, unlike people like Liberty University. But yeah, it's an embarrassing way to go out. A&M sports is, I mean, just continually
Back, baby.
They're never back. I mean, their their arch rival. Kind of a pun right there. Their arch rival comes into the SEC and immediately gets in the SEC championship, goes to the playoffs. Thing they've never done before. And then, you have baseball's ranked number 1, falls off a cliff. Softball is the number 1 team in the nation, number 1 overall seed, loses to an unranked Liberty University. It's just that time after time, they fail miserably. Last thing, are penises having a moment? That's a real question I have. We had the sperm races in LA back in a couple weeks ago.
Hold on, let me collect myself.
Are penises having a moment?
Okay.
All right. You have the sperm races in LA, which obviously were faked, as you saw the movement of the. We talked about the movement of the sperm. But then there's at the Indy 500, again, talk about Indianapolis, there is a Weenie Mobile race. The Oscar Mayer Weenie Mobiles? They're having a race in, I think, next weekend or at the Indianapolis 500. It makes me question, are penises having a moment? You got the weenie races, you got sperm races.
Cockfighting's next?
Cockfight, you got cockfighting next, probably. And that's just 2 guys with glow up condoms.
Yeah, no, not like roosters. I'm talking like meat slapping meat.
Yeah. I want some meaty boys slapping meaty boys.
No balls. No balls.
No, that'd be against the rules. No balls.
Can't show balls. Balls aren't funny. No, it's the opposite. Actually, balls are funny.
Balls are funny if they get hit. Balls are funny if they not by themselves. They're not funny. If they get hit, they're really funny.
Oh, maybe it's who can do the most.
Is it?
It's you use you use your dick to smack the other one's balls, and it's first one to tap out.
It's Dana White slap fighting, but for balls.
But cock and balls.
Cock and balls. We can all I don't know.
And if you come, you're out. So no cock and ball torture mains.
Do you remember? And I'm not going to post this. Do you remember the Daniel Tosh gay porn Viagra challenge?
Oh no, I don't.
And so
you had to watch gay porn and take a Viagra.
Yeah,
and see if
and first guy to get a boner lost, and it was on his show on down Tosh.0. He was like, "This is the gay porn Viagra challenge." Oh my gosh. Before I say, Brian, where can people find you? Outdoor Boys, rest in peace. That's a man right there doing it for his family, quitting the game while I was on top because his family got too famous. He wanted to focus on them. So shout out to that man. Brian, where can the people find you?
You can find me across all social medias at Auric Polaris, AuricPolaris. I have been streaming a shit ton of Elden Ring. I'm actually going to do so in about an hour and a half, continuing my quest to become the Elden Lord. Not doing that ending, but continuing to gather great runes and follow in the footsteps of the Lunar Witch Rani. That means nothing to no one unless you're an Elden Ring fan. Jorden, where can the people find you?
Find me at Jordan's Thoughts on Twitter and find me at Moonstamp Sports across all platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week.
Stay beautiful.